These are the stages that a true human being goes through during its evolution. The first is the wandering, where we come from, why, our purpose, and gathering our tools. The second is an initiation, preparing our own path, each one different, purifying, and hopefully centering. The next is honoring, understanding the source of our creation. That's a biggie. Recognizing the sacred in oneself, stating intention, realizing and acknowledging one's true purpose to create self. Surrender, go of control to allow vulnerability, to learn what is already known. I forgot. Embrace our own darkness, walking into the unknown parts of self, being and becoming the void. For the first time. Lighting the flame in the heart, connecting to self and finding meaningful, honest ritual. Transformation, climbing the ladder of self-responsibility to hold a vision of being oneness, being the vision that alters all perception. Becoming human, empathy and compassion toward all, being in truly responsible relationships. Walking the path, integrating all of life's experiences, being a teacher by being. Service, discarding the illusion of separateness, total approach to life in humility and joy. Last, the worship of the isness is the creation of Christ.
May not be for us to exist in this reality, or this parallel reality, or this timeline. What did the Brahmin say about parallel reality for this scenario that doesn't happen?
He's not going to like my answer. They haven't said anything. I know that there are parallel realities, and I know that Earth, that several parallel realities of Earth are already in existence in the higher octaves above us. I know that in one of the realities, the New World Order is already established and exists. And, the Nazi flag flies over the whole world. I want you to know that as their density begins to implode, that all of those realities will be moving and merging into the one. Okay? Because the reality of which those two were created is the one we're on. And all the other ones will be returning to source. Now, they've said that the New World Order will come into reality here, but for a short time as we keep moving. As long as we stick together, as long as we help one another, as long as we have mutual respect for each other, we will not slow down our process as we move up, into the higher dimension, or just to a higher consciousness of world unity, of our free will, not being forced at the point of a gun to do it, or not having to relinquish your rights. Here in the United States, a lot of people are worried about the Russians, they're worried about the Hong Kong police and the New World Order. Let me tell you something, folks. You're losing your country in the courtroom every day. It's in the courtroom with corrupt judges and institutionalized corruption. And I'll tell you what, if you allow, this is my own little political statement, if you allow the Congress and the President to take away the Second Amendment, you will lose all your other rights. I don't believe in toting a gun, carrying a gun, and killing anybody, all right? But the Founding Fathers knew about corruption, and they knew about tyranny. And the reason the Second Amendment is there is to protect all the other rights. And until we consciously make the shift and change everybody else's perspective, I'm afraid, from my perspective, it's a necessary evil. But that's my perspective, okay? America, you have done so much in such a short amount of time. But you have to understand that when you're a draconian or Orion belief system, there is no such thing as free will, as self-rule in their control. Now, the reason we've been able to get away with it for so long is because, when you look at where we are to the center of the galaxy, we're in the boonies. We're way out here. And they're just now starting to come around, and they realize that the magnetics of the planet, the consciousness of the planet, is starting to change. So this is what has attracted a lot of the races to us now. It was also the blasting of nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons not only affect third density, but they affect fourth and fifth. It sends a shock wave through it. Okay? And we were totally irresponsible. We didn't know. We didn't know what we were doing. And that's why a lot of the races started to show up. They'd been here sooner, but that's when they really started to come in mass. Like, what the hell's going on down there? So the world powers have a real serious problem. People are waking up, and it's great. We have to. We've been. Our heritage has been denied us. We've been robbed of it, and don't let it go. Don't Don't let it go. We need to know who we are. We're hiding an agenda. How do they show mutual respect? They just honor every aspect of their life and everybody else's life. Because they're so evolved, there's no such thing as crime there. There's no laser shootings on a mothership. There's no, they need for nothing. They absolutely need for nothing. Anything that they need is given to them for evolvement. And they all work towards that. They wouldn't think about leaving somebody behind. I'll give you a good example of that too. There was a ship, an extraterrestrial craft that was apparently shot down in 1985. I believe it was 1985. And it was a human being from Tau Ceti who literally got too close, and he was shot down. I understand that our military was able to take him, took him underground somewhere in Arizona, put him on a car, a train, took him underground to North Dakota, where they started doing some really horrific things. Mornay told me that a Tau Ceti fleet wanted to come in and invade our planet, particularly North Dakota, to get this guy back. Okay? And it was literally the Andromedans and the Pleiadians, a benevolent group of Pleiadians, that stepped in and said, whoa, no, not yet. It's not the time. That's mutual respect. It's not leaving POWs in Vietnam because you owe this, because you promised the government $3 billion. It's not leaving men in North Korea because you lied, because you're dealing drugs. You don't want everybody else to know. That's not mutual respect. They would never ever think to do something like that. And those are things. Those are characteristics we need to look at, because there are many in this room that probably know about that. And say, oh my God, that's terrible. What you don't understand is that we are very carefully being watched by some incredible races, both good and bad. And they are watching us and our characteristics, what we will do, what we will not do. They are measuring our honor and intent. Okay? It's not just about us anymore. It's about everything. And I know you're probably being taught that. So when you hear stuff like this, please don't go into your little box. Betrayed, and we're going to have to come together and find a way to totally forgive that so that we can move on. But in forgiving it, it's important not to allow it to happen again, to be more diligent, to be yeah, that's a good idea. It is behind the one we see. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, this is the sun. This is Earth and her moon. The second one is smaller, it is behind it. If you're standing on Mars, you see it. Okay? You see it. As it turns, now the reason it was done, the reason our planet was moved is because the surface could not handle the radiation of two suns after the last war that was here. So they had to do something about moving it. Now, when I asked, well, who moved this? The response I got from RNA, and this is the only answer I got, was that this is something the Pleiadians had to answer. So I don't know if there's an agreement for them to bring this information out, or if they were responsible for it. I don't know. Okay? But apparently there is some evidence coming to light that they clearly suspect that there are two. Okay? Let's see, hold on. I want to end this with, I want to read something, and I want to thank the gentleman in the back for bringing this up. I have a very deep respect for the Native Americans. And I just think that they're great. They have really tried to hold on to their integrity through it all. What's in the mind, even though that's important to be able to control the creative force of emotions. It's more so the emotions. Because we are able to contain all of that inside physical form, that's what they're most attracted to. Because they want that, because the races have lost, I've said this before, some of their passion, and they are becoming more and more dependent on technology. And here we are steeping ourselves deeper and deeper into physicality, when in fact we have the ability to just leave all this behind. So we are not correctly using our power as a race. In fact, we're wasting it. And they're more attracted to that. When you start to see large groups of people resigning from world government, that will be your biggest sign that shit's about to hit the fan. Okay? Many of our world leaders have been promised underground facilities, and some even on the moon. And folks, there are bases on the moon that were built by the United States, Russians, and the British, using British money. Next question, please.
When you spoke about the transition between going from fourth density to fifth density, how are we going to know that we made that transition?
Okay, that's an easy question. Okay, we live in a color spectrum of 72 frequencies, or 72 colors. When you get to fifth density, there are 223 different frequencies and colors. You will see colors you have never ever seen before, and it'll be just like that. And you know you will be there.
I understand the Andromedans have a version of the story of Enki and Enlil, and I'm wondering if you could tell us anything about that?
Oh, that's a long question. Long answer. Actually, my understanding is that the two brothers have really warred with each other over a lot of other issues. We just happen to be one of them. I do know that Enki, what they've told me is that Enki was betrayed and killed, and that his body is literally buried in the face that's on Mars. Now, whether he's reincarnated or not, again, I don't know. But that's all I know. Basically, what we have to deal with now is Enlil. But fortunately, truth is starting to come out about all that, and people are waking up and realizing and seeing the contradictions in the Old Testament, and even some of the contradictions in the New Testament, and they're starting to question, which is a very, very good sign. Phaseus once said to me, "It is not so important what you believe, but as to why you believe it. And whatever your belief is, make sure that it is worth the depth of your commitment to it." And I think what we've done as a race is we've accepted a lot of things just on face value, without truly investigating it or trying to feel it inside of us. And it's gotten us into a lot of trouble. For example, the Inquisition. The Inquisition was really an attack against women. That's really what it was about the sacredness, the Wicca of women, and the science that they held, the spirituality that they held. That's really what it was about. A lot of men got killed because they were supportive of the goddess worship. That was a huge travesty on the human race. Just one.
What's your problem? What do you say, sir? Thank you, sir. Here you go, sir. Thank you. Look, buddy, I don't want no house today. Either pay for it or put it back.